Hello guys, gals, and anyone who identifies otherwise, and welcome to episode 1 of the Table of Terror podcast. My name is Kameko, you can call me Miko if you'd like, and I am the creator and host of the Table of Terror. If you read the title of this podcast, then you know what I'm going to be talking about today, but I'm going to tell you anyway because I want to. I'm going to basically be sharing with you all one of the scariest dreams that I've ever had. But before we jump into that, I would like to say something else. First and foremost, I would like to say that I started this podcast because I have a love and a fascination for the paranormal, mystical, spiritual world. I think all of that is super interesting. And I am in no way a professional on any of these subjects I talk about. I will be doing research for some of these episodes. Some of them will be more like this, where it's kind of a story time. I just kind of sit down and share something with you guys. If there's anything specific you want to see, you can always reach out to the podcast. In the show notes, I'll leave ways for you to get in touch if you want to. And I'll also give that whole self-promotion spiel at the end of the episode. But, wow, can you hear those crickets? I just bought crickets for my bearded dragon yesterday, and they're making so much noise right now. I'm so sorry. So to give you all an idea of the kinds of things that this podcast will be about, this episode is kind of a story time. I'm telling you about a dream I had where I was possessed. We are going to be talking about sleep paralysis. We're going to be talking about fictional characters / urban legends, incubi and succubi. We'll talk about different kinds of demonology. We'll talk about Jewish demonology. We'll talk about haunted places. We'll talk about all kinds of spooky, cool things because I'm just a massive nerd and love a good excuse to go ahead and do a research project. Now, with all of that being said, I think that I think that I should just jump into this story time and tell you about the scariest dream I've ever had. Now, as a kid, I experienced sleep paralysis. I had recurring nightmares. Eventually, I taught myself how to lucid dream. I can talk about that more in future episodes if you're interested. Let me know if that's so. But there was a dream I had when I was in high school, or the end of high school, beginning of college, somewhere right there. And in this dream, I was possessed. And by possessed, I mean there was a demon sharing my body, and I found this out during the dream. I've never been possessed in real life, that I know of anyway, but this dream really hit close to home at the time because it was actually a time in my life where I was going through some discernment processes and trying to see if I could potentially be a holy sister after I graduated college. Guys, I thought about being a nun for a while. Anywho, that's my mind was thinking about religion a lot at the time, and I wonder if part of my subconscious thought that this dream was important for me to, experience. Anyway, this dream started out feeling really real in the sense of I woke up in this dream and I woke up in my bed, in my bedroom. Part of me knew that this was the bedroom in my old childhood house that we were no longer living in real life. But I woke up in my bed, in my bedroom, just so hot. There was this, stifling feeling in the air. The air was really hot. I woke up in, a panic and just felt like a suffocating hot presence hovering in the room, kind of on me, almost. And my lizard brain in this dream was like, oh, I have to go talk to my mom. I feel awful. I'll just talk to mom and everything will be okay. So I get up out of my bed and I start to make my way through the house, but the whole time it's really, really hard to walk. It feels almost like I'm trudging through molasses. and this dark, heavy feeling is still in the air. It's present. And I don't know what it is at the time. So I make my way to my parents' room. I open their door. I go down their hall and into their bedroom. And my mom is sleeping on her side of the bed. I don't know where my dad was in this dream. He wasn't really in it. His side of the bed was empty. It was never something that I thought about during the dream itself. But he wasn't there. It was just me and my mom. And I'm freaked out. I'm like, just go talk to mom. Just go talk to mom. Everything will be fine. You'll figure out what's happening. And I make my way over to her side of the bed. I kind of shake her awake, and she wakes up kind of slowly. She's groggy. She looks confused at first. And then in a matter of seconds, she goes from, like, confused to angry to scared, like, back to angry. And she sits up, and she looks at me, and she says, "Where the hell have you been?" I was like, "What are you talking about? I just woke up. I was in my bed." She's like, No. "Where have you been?" And I'm just standing there, confused. She looks at me and she says, "I haven't seen you in 5 years." She says, "You've been in and out of prison. You've been on drugs." Like, she starts listing off all of these crazy things that I would never do. And I'm standing there kind of taking it all in. I'm listening to her say these things. And I'm also having an epiphany in my own head. I'm like, oh my God, I have lost time. How did I lose all of this time? And as she keeps talking, as my mother keeps talking, I realize, oh, bing, light bulb goes off. I have been possessed by a demon. And thus have lost all of this time and become this completely different person. And as soon as that thought is fully formed in my head, I have to get it out. Like, I have to tell her. I have to say it out loud. So that, I don't know, maybe someone could help me. And she is still talking, and I don't remember exactly what anymore. But I'm trying to interrupt her, and I keep saying, Mom, Mom, I have to tell you something. And eventually I do get the words out. I say, Mom, I'm a demon, which looking back is terrifying because I could have said, Mom, I've been possessed, or like there's a demon in me, but I didn't say that. I said I am a demon. And that's weird. Because I choose my words very carefully, even in dreams, and I don't know, it was just a weird thing looking back on it. But as soon as I start to say, Mom, I'm a demon, and I get to the word demon, my voice changes, and it goes from my voice to a terrifying, like, nasty growl, very sinister. Like, I can't even say it or try to give you guys an idea what the voice was like, but it felt like nails on a chalkboard, but a million times worse. It was insane. Sorry, that with slapping sound was just me bringing my hand down on my leg. So, I say, Mom, I'm a demon. My voice changes to a growl, and then a weird thing happens where in the dream, I seem to dissociate from myself. So my body is doing whatever, but I'm viewing the dream as kind of an omniscient point of view. So I say, Mom, I'm a demon, and I see myself lunge at my mom, and I would assume my possessed self now lunges towards her and grabs her around the neck with both hands and starts to choke her. So possessed me, choked my mom. I don't know what that says about my subconscious, but I woke up from that dream. I woke up as soon as I saw myself wrap my hands around my mom's throat. And I woke up in a panic, like sweated through my clothes, I woke up with tears streaming down my face, was completely inconsolable, and like a weirdo, I was like, I just have to get up and tell my mom about this and everything will be okay, which is so freaking strange because that's exactly my thought. One of the first thoughts I had in this dream was like, oh, I have to get to my mom to tell her. So I wake up in real life, full-blown panic, and I'm like, I just have to tell my mom about this. So I go get her, I wake her up, we go into the living room, I tell her all about this dream, and she looks at me and she's like, well, do you think you're possessed? And I was like, no, of course not. It was just a really creepy, strange dream to have, very unnerving. And I had this dream 2 nights in a row. The first night I had this dream, I panicked, woke up, told her all about it, blah, blah, blah. Didn't sleep for the rest of the night. Went to bed the next night, after a full day of school, whatever, and I go to bed, and I have this dream for a second time. And when I woke up this time, it was exactly the same dream, 100%. And I woke up, tears streaming down my face, sweated through my clothes again, but I got up, I changed the sheets, I put on clean pajamas, and I went back to bed. And it wasn't as bad the second time, but it was a crazy dream, and I just felt the need to share. So that is the weirdest dream I have ever had. I did briefly mention that I have experienced sleep paralysis since a young age and that I can lucid dream. I didn't lucid dream in this sense. It was very real. I kind of knew it was a dream, but it was still very real. I couldn't change anything about it, let's put it that way. So not really lucid dreaming. But there was also no sleep paralysis during this particular experience that I've shared. I woke up fully functional, got out of bed, whatever, had absolutely no signs of how I experienced sleep paralysis when I woke up from these dreams. Which is interesting now that I'm thinking about it, because I have sleep paralysis almost every time I dream. I tell you what, I feel like sharing a little bit more about sleep paralysis, so here's what we're going to do. Episode 2 of this podcast is going to be about sleep paralysis, kind of what it is. I guess I'll share some of my experiences with it, and we will go from there. So if you would like to save the podcast, follow, leave a review, that would be awesome. You can find all of that information in the show notes, and in a minute I will share everything, all of that information with you. But here we go. Episode 2 is going to be about sleep paralysis. In the meantime, if you like the podcast, you, first of all, should follow us on whatever podcasting app you use. Leave a positive review, please. It would mean a lot if you could share this with maybe 3 family members or friends to get the word out. That would be amazing, especially if you like the kind of content that we talk about here on the Table of Terror. If you would like to get in touch with the podcast online, you can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Table of Terror _, that's TABLE of Terror with an underscore after it. Again, that's Instagram and Twitter. If you would like to support the show on Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/tableofterrorpod. It's spelled exactly how it sounds, POD, pod. And if you would like to send an email to share any of your paranormal experiences, or if you would like to suggest future topics, you can go ahead and reach out to me on social media, or you can actually send us an email at tableofterrorpod@gmail.com. So it's a Gmail, and again, it's tableofterrorpod, TABLE of terror, and then POD @gmail. That's the email address. I hope you guys enjoyed episode 1, and I look forward to hearing from you all for episode 2. If you would like to come say hi and reach out to me on my personal social media accounts, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Kameko Rios. That's MEK as in King, O, and my last name RIOS. Again, that's Kameko Rios on Instagram and Twitter. Come say hi. I love making new friends. And one more little self-promo here. I did previously talk about this experience and this stream over on my YouTube channel. If you're interested in seeing that at all, there's a little bit more context, there's a little more backstory, there's a little bit of stuff in between that I didn't really cover on this podcast episode that is in that YouTube video. So if you want to take a look at that, I will leave it in the show notes. My YouTube channel is Fangirl Reacts, so you can go find me there. And again, I'll leave all the information in the show notes. Alright everyone, I am not going to hold your ears hostage any longer. I hope you have a great rest of the day, whatever time it is when this podcast is reaching your ears. Take care of yourselves, please be kind to each other, and don't forget to drink water because it's good for your body. Okay, bye! Hello guys, gals, and anyone who identifies otherwise, and welcome to episode 1